What's up, F-Words? It's Tim the Caveman. Let me hit you guys with my intro. Today on Caveman Adventures, we're going to do some drawing. We're going to copy a cover from an Avengers comic book. Who you're looking at right here is Doctor Strange and all his weirdness, and we love it. Today's goal is not to fix what we see, but to copy it as closest to the original as possible. And this is how far I've gotten today. This is a really fun drawing, not just because of what the character is, who the character is, pardon me, but because of what it is teaching me. And I gotta say, I appreciate and love drawing when I can not only express myself artistically with something fun like this, but learn from it at the same time, and that's exactly what is happening. It's quite a challenge to get everything right in the sense of copying it to the T. I am making this a little bit bigger than what the comic book is showing, just because I'm dealing with a bigger canvas, and I'm having a lot of fun. A lot of this is, there's a lot of erasing going on because I need to get these arms proportioned right. I'm not trying to make him look extra buff or you know, I'm not trying to make this drawing my own. I'm honestly trying to copy this so that I can learn from what this great artist has put into it. And so far it's paying off. I feel like I've made plenty of observations and notes, mental notes on how to go about it in my own way. And that's really going to help me in the future once I start drawing my own characters. I want to learn from artists that not just impress and inspire me, but like artists that are known, so that I don't just know them by their stories that they're a part of, but by their work. Our modern day artists definitely have a style that everyone's at one point tried to do on their own. I'm just trying to give this guy respect and try to copy it so that, you know, so I get those feel good feelings. There are things that I have noticed. I will show you guys a little close-up here in a second of their fingers, their hand positions, and stuff like that. They don't make the most sense, but this is a Doctor Strange comic book, so, you know, it is what it is. I just don't, I can imagine the conversation the artist was having with their editor. They're like, no, focus more on this part, focus more on that part. What they're doing here was a lot of muscle definition, then all of a sudden they kind of switched their styles in themselves, and was like, okay, that's enough there, let's make this a little more cartoonish. And I have to say, as someone that likes that style himself, me, I appreciate what they're doing. It's just once you deconstruct the work that they put into it, you can kind of tell that they were like, okay, next, from one aspect to the other. My biggest gripe right now is you can see that this shoulder is actually sticking up more. This shoulder is sticking up more, and it's actually kind of pushed forward a little more than this one, than his right one, which would make the emblem on his chest have to rise with it, but it doesn't. It's actually proportionate and like it's symmetrical to his chest, which kind of threw me off a little bit, because while I was drawing it on my own, I was actually giving it that stretch, and then I realized the artist decided to skip that part. So again, I'm not trying to correct anybody's work. I'm trying to redraw for redraw what I see, and that means respecting the original and going with that. There's a lot in this drawing, like a lot, and I'm also excited for the shading part because I haven't done that much shading with in a while, and because I'm going to use markers to color this in, I'm really excited to see what that's going to look like. And at the same time, I have to be forgiving because, again, it'll be my first time shading with a pencil and pretty much coloring with markers. Let's just hope that I do this drawing some justice, because I'm really enjoying this, and I can't get too upset because I'm relearning how to draw. And yeah, I'll shut my yapper and let you guys get back to this. Honor and respect, how are you? Thanks for joining. Curious, what you drawing? Sure, I'll show you guys. I am drawing this cover from the New Avengers comic books. It's issue 14. This is Doctor Strange and all his weirdness, and this is what I'm trying to redraw. Let me flip this so you can see what I've got so far. I'll put that in front of it, and then that. Looks good, says Crystal Creativity Art. Yo, thank you so much. I'm trying to be nice to myself and patient now. I was rushing myself earlier. But there are certain things that I know I have to correct, like this bicep doesn't have enough definition right there to separate the shoulder from the bicep. It looked like it was just pure bicep going up to the shoulder. Well, it's more like just pure bicep. So adjusting those lines right there to give it some definition was great. This back forearm is a little too thick. It's a little too big for the posture that it's got and the precision of it, because the back arm cannot be bigger than the arm that's on front. Otherwise, that would just that just doesn't compute. Does not compute. So we are going to make that arm skinnier, and all we're going to do is just follow the same line that we did to outline the arm. But we're going to go in, like, I don't know, and like 1/8 just to make it skinnier, and then if we have to reduce, we can just go ahead and erase and reduce again. But that's one way to help you make something actually proportionate. Just take a little bit off at a time and adjust as needed. They've made very interesting choices on how to express the hands. If you know Doctor Strange, then you know he's got the traditional flip-looking hands. You know, he's doing that a lot. But when I say that they were working on one thing and then they like all of a sudden gave up, it has to be the hands that I would point out the most. You can tell that they're really good at anatomy, but at one point, like I was saying, they decided to emphasize the shape of the thumb and then kind of give up on the rest of the hand, which is, you know, which is just what it is. But it's fun to be able to recognize that as an artist, what other people were focused on, and then all of a sudden they changed up a bit. I do have to get this really quick. Sorry about that. I didn't realize my phone was almost dead. That's no bueno. Okay. It's all about perspective. It sure is. And I am not trying to talk down on this artist. Like I said earlier, I am trying to copy it for what it is, but copying it for what it is definitely opening my eyes on you know, certain details. I can outline this part just because I'm pretty confident that I want to leave that the way it is. And let's outline the rest of his foot. Let's give this knee some shape to it. It's got this cover has really beautiful color palette on it. The dark blues with dark reds. It really works. It's got two gold emblems. The Eye of Agamotto, I believe, is what it's called. And then it also has another belt buckle, and that's pretty awesome looking too. So there's some yellow accents there. It looks so beautiful, you guys. Gonna give those two rings right there, and I think it's a design of triangles, so let's give it some triangles. Looks good. Crystal Creativity Art says, I'm trying to draw Gambit. Ooh, what Gambit? I really like Gambit's art when he's powering up anything, you know, like charging it with his powers. That's always a fun way to draw him. That's a little Then we're just gonna give him some lumps down under. He does not skip leg day, I'll tell you that. Now we're gonna give his other knee some shape. Looks like he's got kind of a pointy knee. A longer kneecap than I would draw myself, but hey, again, we are paying respect to the original art piece. And we're just gonna follow through with this foot art right there. And we're gonna round that toe area. You think Dr. Strange knows the spell to get in good shape, like instantly? Yes, and I wish I knew it too. Like, I would use that every day and eat the worst foods ever. So at the his emblem has these, like, it's kind of like a fork shape, right? So his emblem has like this fork shape, 1, 2, 3, and here I'm trying to follow these lines because these lines are actually going to indicate where his neck muscle starts. Not directly like the neck, but the what would be these muscles right here. I don't have any, otherwise I'd show you guys, but having proper precision on where these little fork looking peaks of his emblem end is where his neck is going to start. and that'll help you, well, it'll help me move this emblem to proper position, because if that happens to be too skinny, then it's not really giving him justice for the muscles that he has or that I've drawn already. So we got to keep that consistent right there. As you can see, I am adjusting them just so that it covers a better area. Scooby says 100%. Yeah, bro, I would just eat the worst food if I could, man. If it didn't affect my health, yeah, I'm gonna have some of that Goop Scoop. You know what I mean? For the giggles. If you don't know what Goop Scoop is, TikTok it. It's pretty funny. 97 X-Men, making it somewhat my own. Oh, right on. I love that. That's what I'm hoping to gain from redrawing all these pictures that you guys see me working on, is that I want to learn the lessons that went into those drawings, you know, and then hopefully start drawing my own characters with some sort of, you know, just from what I've learned, with the details that I've learned. So it looks like those muscles are going to go up just a smidgen. Got to mirror them, except for the one on the right side looks like it's a little bit more, it's a little higher. See, this is another thing that I mean. Their choice of like how they're posturing the neck and how it starts is really interesting, because with his left arm, like I said earlier, it's pushed up and forward, but his right one is lowered and kind of just resting. But the neck, the neck part is kind of throwing me off a little bit. It's not that hard for me to tell myself, stop, it's not your drawing, just keep going. It's just something that I'm aware of, and being aware of these things are what's going to make, you know, my art style stick out once I actually tackle my own characters. Are you guys working on any characters yourself? Have you tried to draw or write your own comic books before, and if so, what kind? How long has it been sitting in the back burner? Personally, mine's been sitting in the back burner for years, and why I started drawing again is because I feel the urge to revive it, but I want to be able to draw the characters that I like, and because I haven't drawn anatomy in so long, I know that I need the practice, hence why you see me working on all these drawings, because I want the practice, and what I want to practice on are characters that I really, really like. So here we're going to draw the chin, and he does have a pointy chin, and the chin does align with the eye of Agamotto, but slightly to the left. His left, my right. So I'm just going to give a slight point to that chin. If I have to adjust it, I will in a second here. But let's give a rough shaping of what his head is meant to look like. Hair included. It looks like it's a hexagon almost. Oh wait, no. Do I know shapes? I know shapes. I'm pretty sure there's a different name for this shape, even though there's only 6 sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. So like, forgive me for not knowing those. Same here. I've tried to revisit drawing, but instantly get discouraged when I see the results aren't as good as it used to be. Oh man, this is definitely one of those things that if you don't use it, you'll lose it. Hexagon. Yo, watch your mouth, bro. We were on TikTok. So, Doctor Strange has these cute little ears. Is another one of those details that they really focused on, and then they kind of gave up and just moved to something else. But again, you know, we're talking about people who have the experience to draw what they need to out of, you know, to like put the detail they need to, and then move on to something else, because like that's just what a pro knows to do. You know, they don't have to sit there and hyper focus on stuff like that, because they know what is enough. And that's another lesson to be learned. You could be really, really good at drawing something really, really lifelike, but do you really have all that time to put it towards a comic book? Do you want to keep moving on? How many drawings do you have to do? A lot of these questions are not asked, but I assume, I wasn't asking these earlier, but I assume this is all stuff that's in their mind too. This is just the cover. This is like a 30-page issue or something like that. So Homeboy had a lot to cover, you know, had a lot to do. Awesome, thank you. I write 6 Agon. Uh-huh, I'm sure you did, bro. Okay, so his hair is just awesome. I can't wait till I get older and get that gray hair. Oh, wait a minute. I'm bald. Oh no. There goes my dreams. There goes my hero. Something, something, cry. Alright. Now that aligning his hairline is pretty important here, because it also gives you a clue to where his cheekbone line is going to go, where his eyes are supposed to be placed. And we don't want to give him a small head, because obviously he's going to need that space for all those details. And this is something I am trying to follow here. This is also really good for practicing different angles of lighting, you guys. Lighting is very, very important when you start drawing humans or anatomy, just because that's what's really going to make the muscles pop. Here they're working really well with the shadowing that they got, well, I mean with the lighting, giving him like proper shadowing under his eyes to give him that menacing look that he's you know, trying to portray, that they're trying to portray right now. If you guys don't know, this issue is where Stephen Strange sacrifices most of his souls, or if not all, so that he can have all the powers. If you guys don't know, that is a way that you can always spruce that he can get more powerful, is by trading his soul in for more power. I don't know how many times I have to say that, but that's just something that Doctor Strange does occasionally, so that he can have the necessary power to defeat the bad guy of the issue. And one, that's crazy. Two, I think that's pretty much it. Just one, it's crazy, and it's awesome. It's awesome because, you know, this is why he looks so sinister right here. Instead of having his colorful attire with the bright yellows and bright blues, no, they went this direction with his different costume that kind of gives it that sinister look. Can't get mad at him when they really do that job right, you know. Again, the artist did a lot by focusing mainly on the eyes right here, and the shadowing. It's really portraying him as like, oh, what's going on in this issue? Why is he not in his traditional colors? Why does he look so serious right there? Also, why is there a giant demon behind him? You know, and they did a great job in giving you a little foreshadowing to what's to come once you read this issue. The cheekbones need to fit the outline of the face, so this is why this is kind of why I worked from the outside in. And of course, we can't forget to let that majestic goatee of his follow the jawline that he's got. let me catch up with some of these comments. Coach Scooby says, yeah, blame it on autocorrect, winky face. Yeah, that's it. Gray in the gray in the beard is way cooler. Yeah, I got some of that going myself. Coach also says, how do you do that before you become the bad guy? What? How do you do that before you become the bad guy? How long do you do that before you become the villain? I don't know. I guess that's, you know, at your own pace, I guess. If you want to dive into it, be that villain. Just be the best villain you can be. With the mixed styles, it makes me wonder if more than one artist worked on it. I will probably look this up later, to be honest, just because I'm critiquing it this much. I'd like to know if any of my critiques have merit, or if I'm just pulling this out of my butt. But yeah, that's a really good question. I wonder. So now that I've drawn some of his head in, I'm noticing that the head that I drew is a little bit bigger than the head shown here on the original. The angle that we're facing Doctor Strange is like you're kind of right under him, right? You're under him and watching him levitate, so of course the head would be smaller the further away he gets from you. And here I've made it look more like he's crunching forward and putting his face in the same, well, he's crunching forward and making his head look bigger. Now, should I correct that? Yes, I should. Am I a little sad that I have to correct that? Yes, I am, because it looks great. But again, I'm not trying to make it my own, I'm trying to copy what I'm seeing, and sometimes that means taking some detail away and redoing it. But because these lines are, and the detail is getting more fine on his face, because he's flying, now the lines are just getting skinnier and skinnier, that means I have to sharpen my pencil to get that fine tip that I need to cover those, to make those details. I mean sacrificing his soul, sorry. Yeah, you know, that's another thing too. It's kind of crazy. I'm pretty sure they explain that away. I think it's probably one of those things like it's only gonna matter until after he passes, you know. Then his soul gets tortured in whatever realm that he's gonna be sent to. So I'm assuming it's the payment comes after. Maybe also the effects too, you know. I was not able to complete this run, so I couldn't tell you. I wish I did complete it because this was really hyping me up for Doctor Strange. Like I was saying earlier, Doctor Strange was one of my favorite characters in Marvel before they did the movie. I no disrespect, I just know that they went a different direction from like the one that I'm used to from the comics. I ain't trying to gatekeep, you know, characters change all the time, so I understand that part, but man, did they mess my boy up. It's you know, it is what it is. So what I'm gonna do here, just so that I can kind of speed through this process a little bit, I'm gonna give it rough, like little rough sketches here of what I'm supposed to follow, and just adjust those as I keep progressing on this. So I'm gonna pretend I am a printer, and I'm just going to do a bunch of chicken scratches, and those will be my guiding lines, and then I can just, like I said, adjust as I go. So one thing that will help me fix this is giving him a skinnier neck. Sometimes I follow, you know, the work that I previously put onto something, and if one thing leads, you know, it's like the arm. I drew one bicep too big, so I had to shrink that bicep in order to get the proper perspective of like how far it is in the back. Like I said, we can't, for the arm's sake, I can't make the back arm look bigger than the arms in front, because then that would just ruin it. You know, the perspective is wrong. It's off. So then I have to focus on that cheekbone. Have to shrink that cheekbone to make it look like we're looking straight up at him and not straight at him. Some of these guiding lines are there because of the hairline that he's got going. Beautiful hairline. I miss my hair. One thing sets the other one up. With that said, did you see the Wong and Dark Strange 2-pack? Oh my god, yes. The oh god. Wongers is such a good character from the MCU. I don't want to be a poser and tell you that I know a lot about him in the comic books. The comic books that I do have of Doctor Strange, there's only a few appearances of Wong in them, and I'd always wondered when we were going to get a comic book accurate Wong. I'm glad that he's coming now, but like it kind of sucks that he's stuck between the 2-pack, but I understand that decision in a marketing aspect, because what do they call them? More obscure characters aren't always known by everybody, but now that Wong is known by the world, I feel like it would have been less of a risk to just, you know, put him out there on his own as a single card instead of locked behind a 2-pack. But we also know Hasbro's gonna Hasbro, so, you know. Okay, so he's kind of got this like spikes in his hair. Again, portraying him in a more sinister light. It's just awesome. These comic books are just what I love. If you read some of his older comics, Doctor Strange, you know that he lives in a psychedelic world, or like a psychedelic trip all the time, especially once he invokes some of his spells, because that's basically what it is, man. Like, he's a walking vision quest, I'll tell you that. And it's awesome. It's awesome once his character's like really done well and explored into the realms of magic that he controls. It's just it's not nightmare fuel, but it'll definitely give you some trippy dreams if you read them before you go to sleep, especially if you focus on the art. Love great tips. Yo, you're welcome. When I take a second to show you guys what I need to correct here. So here, I'll move this forward. You guys can see the head. If you can, try and focus on the size of the head. And now gander at the size of my character's head. Does it or does it not need to be shrunken down a bit? While you guys think about that, I'm going to show the Roku world. Oh goodness. There is just a horrible glare that's not allowing you guys to see that, so let me quickly take this bad boy out. He took it out! There you go. There's the less glare. So you can see that the head on the original is just smaller than the head that I've drawn. There's actually two of them. I think this is somebody else's body and then this giant one. Here's the eyes. This looks like a dragon. Maybe it's a throne of something. And then here's another one. yes, there's a lot to unpack in this issue itself. But as you might have noticed, I do need to shrink that head even more, which I'm just like what I did was I elongated his jawbones, not on purpose, but that's what I did to create the head to be that size. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to erase the face again, and I'm just going to I'm going to change those jawbones, the jawbone, make it shorter right there. Take about ½ an inch off the face with just that one adjustment. Again, we're playing the game of does it match? What I funny enough, I feel like I started giving him Dragon Ball Z hair. Wrong IP. Started painting the landscape diorama last night. It's coming along nicely. That's what's up, Triple D. Triple D in the house. Oh man, another great diorama creator. His builds are a lot better than mine, and my gosh, that he set the stage for some of this stuff. He's done a few works. I don't know how many exactly, my bad. What I'm trying to say is that he's done amazing work from what I've caught. His G.I. Joe dioramas, the one in Ruins is probably my favorite that I've seen. Some of these jagged edges on this color. I'm probably focusing too much on the color right now. I should really get back to the face, but you know, I'm trying to get that perspective that I need by giving my eyes a little bit of a break, just so that by focusing on something else. Sometimes that's all you need to do, is just focus on something else, and then tackle the part that you were on, and it kind of gets easier from there. You know, stack, stack, stack. Probably go live tonight and paint. Hey man, if you see me on there, if you see the green light on, and you want some company, let me know, and I'll come and hang out with you. See some of your process, maybe learn something from you. Cause you know your boy ain't above that. You know, I love other artists and creators that can teach me a trick or two. It's how I get better. I always had a thing for vampires. Like, I just loved them, and I thought Doctor Strange, before like I actually got to read him more, off his looks, I thought he was a vampire. I don't know if anyone else shared that same like thought process as me, but like, just off his looks, I thought he was like a spin-off of Dracula or something. And then when I found out he was like this multi-dimensional traveling being, I was like, oh, sold, take my money. Okay, so now let me show you this. I feel like making his head smaller, shrinking those jaw lines. Oh my gosh, I can't do this mirrored. Yeah, so what I ended up doing was I lowered the cheekbones, and the next thing I'm going to do is try and get that forehead of his the proper shape. Now you guys can see over here too. There's a lot of shadowing that the Roku world can see, but I hope that you see. I hope you see what I see, because what I see is what I want you to see. if you guys didn't know, I will remind you, English is not my first language. Oh, goodness. I am tonto in 2 different languages. So one thing that I'm noticing now, because I've had to redraw his face a few times, is that it's also in an angle. And I have to ignore the parts that I want to add into it and respect, I guess, again, the original, and not feed the proper angle of things to it. When I say they are focusing on just enough details for you to fill in the rest of the image, that's what I mean. If this was all proportionate and whatever, there would be a whole different expression on his face. It does look like his face gets a little narrow on the top, but that's just because of the angle that he is postured in, and that's okay. It's just one of those optical illusions that you can deconstruct once you redraw the face yourself a bunch of times, like I am doing. Ich kann in Dutch. Does that mean you can speak in Dutch? You can write in Dutch? God, I don't know. Okay. So, another part of this, the face that I will use and his hair is the white hair that he has on both sides kind of poke out like horns. Just enough for you to think they look like horns, anyways, you know. So if I draw those properly, they should be guiding lines on how to finish the rest of his forehead. Remember, there's many ways that you can redraw something, especially when you're going freehand, but you don't always have to focus on one aspect of the face. You can focus on a different part of it, get that part right, and then the rest will definitely align once you start adjusting to one proper line. The next will follow. So I guess is what I'm trying to say. I don't know if you guys freehand draw stuff without grids. I have a grid system that I like to follow. It's just that I haven't used it in so long because, again, I am trying to get better at drawing freehanded. Because I don't know if you guys have seen some of these artists here on TikTok, but the way that they can just bust out their own art, my gosh, hats off to them. And that's a goal of mine, to be able to freehand stuff with the knowledge that I have and not rely on grids all the time. Maybe one of these days I will show you guys how to use those grids, or how to draw the grids, what kind of grids I'm talking about and all that such, so you guys can give it a shot. Now, these eyes have to be symmetrical, obviously, and they do rise up with his cheekbones, and it looks like the peaks of his goatee are what's going to align, what the eyes are going to align to. So, because I've drawn the goatee first, I need to have these eyes follow those lines. There we go. And he is looking more like it, but because I kind of... There we go. Now, is his eye a little droopy, or does it angle in what direction is it? It's looking more like that. Yo, thank you for the likes, you guys. I really appreciate all the support that you guys give me, whether it's through the likes, through comments, through sharing this, through gifts, or your company. It's all greatly appreciated. I know a little German is what that meant. Oh, okay. Big Bills, well, if you can't understand this chat, hold a comment to translate it. Did you just at yourself? Okay, so another part that's going to really help me give what's going to help me copy this properly is giving it a proper chin for what it's got, and its ears and his ear size. I know I said he's got cute little ears, but I drew one a little bit too big, so shrinking that ear is definitely going to change the shape of his head altogether. All the cool kids at themselves. All the cool kids take their moms to prom. I don't know why I said that. It just made sense. It's not a repressed memory. Because my mom wouldn't even go with me to prom. If you guys didn't know this, I love my mama. Okay. I'm going to show you guys how far I got onto that. Redrawing the head again. I feel like it's gaining the shape that it needs. Man. I can't get too upset with what I got going here. I think it's nice. Very nice. So that head is at least half the size it used to be. And with that being drawn out the way it is, it's definitely going to help me adjust the other parts of the body. Like, I either need to make, I think I need to make the waist smaller. To be honest, it's a little hard to tell from my drawing if I need to make the waist smaller or if I need to just shadow it more. Okay, so I feel like it's actually going to start all the way over here. Go. Adjusting the waist is always going to help the character come back. Like, proper proportions on the rib muscles and his whatever these things are is also important. Aligning those muscles, the muscle definition too properly is also important. So I got to readjust there. And again, if you need to look at working on a different part of it, do that, because once you go back to the face like I'm about to do, I'll have a different perspective of it and it will help me adjust even better. Sometimes our eyes just kind of get lost in the detail that we work on for too long, and it prevents us from seeing the changes we can make. So this is why I like to work on one piece, and then once I do too much of that, once I focus too much on something, I like to focus on something else just for that. Dang, this This guy's just yacked. He is so muscular. I'm almost wondering why they went with that route. Well, I guess comic books, right? And it's crazy too, because sometimes you can tell where, like, sometimes on drawings you can tell that they were going with a different route and then they changed midway, but because they like I'll show you here in a second. This could just be me, but if you pay attention to this to the shape of this belt buckle, does it look like they try to draw it right here? Like they drew it right there, and then they changed their mind, erased all that, even the slash marks, you know, from the belt, and then they repositioned the belt, but they left a lot of that in there and tried their best to change that to muscle definition. Like, is it just me, or do you think that's what happened there? I'll show you guys too. Oh, dang it, you guys can't really see it there. Okay, never mind. Those are just like little things that I question sometimes, like, oh, did they mess that up, or did they change their mind and thought, okay, maybe we should do it at a different angle? Could all be in my head. Everyone that's coming in, joining, just stopping by to say what's up. Oh, you did see that? You did see what I meant? Here, I'll put it up again just really quickly for you. Yeah, so those are the kind of details that I pick, that I see. Obviously, this is just me speculating. I could be totally wrong, and that's just how they decided to draw the ab muscles. But at one point or another, after you draw so many abs, you kind of see that, like, hey, that looks a little funky. What's up with that? And that is the power of judgment. No, of being able to deconstruct a drawing. I don't know if I'm using the proper word, deconstruct, but, like, you know, what am I trying to say? Okay, so before I get too ahead of myself and start shading that direction, I need to make these muscles match. They arc downwards and then go up at a certain spot. Welcome in, say hi. Everyone that is here, thank you so much for joining me, wherever you're watching from, either from Roku, YouTube, or here on TikTok. I greatly appreciate all the support. Okay, so what I need to do is I need to adjust some of these shadings that I've done, some of the shading here, just so I can define some of these rib muscles and ribs a little better. So another way to help yourself is I like to flip it, you know, flip it and work from that, because then that gives you a whole different, like, point of view. And believe it or not, it really does help. Just by being able, just by doing this, I can see that I need to bring these details in closer to the middle than to spread them out and make them wide, because it's just not what it looks like there. So give it a rough line to follow. We will definitely adjust that as needed. Make sure there's equally enough space between these. sometimes I like to unfocus my eyes and see the bigger details that are visible, and then use those, make some rough guiding lines off of that. Because if you let yourself have a soft focus, different shapes start to pop out, and if you can draw those shapes, they become better and more. Oh, they're just, you know, different guiding lines. So learning how to do a soft focus when you want to copy certain details is a nice little trick. Because then, like I was trying to say, matching shapes will help everything line up. Once it does, then you can move on from that. So this is supposed to be smaller than that, so this and Harja. And it looks like that shoulder muscle could actually be made a little bit bigger, which is awesome, because you know, superheroes need to be jacked. Okay, and it looks like we made this forearm a little bit too small. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the sleeve line and move it forward. And the crazy thing is, I'm trying to fit this whole arm in here, but honestly, I angled it wrong. Where the arm that I drew is more of a 90-degree angle, the arm that I'm trying to draw is at a 45-degree angle. So I have to adjust to that by lowering the forearm in these directions. And that way, now I can successfully fit these details that I'm trying to fit into it without making the arm look really weird. We like strange. We don't like weird. Keep that in mind. From what it looks like, I can go in a little deeper with the glove line. And again, I do have to consider that the knee is going to be a guiding detail on where this forearm is supposed to sit. Because if you guys remember, the forearm is being covered a little bit by the knee. So this paper that I'm working with actually has a cutoff border to it. I'm going to be drawing past it, which means once I take this off of the booklet itself, I'm going to lose a lot of that detail. Now, I know that that's on me, but we've gone so far into it. I'm trying not to be a perfectionist, even though I want to be really, really bad. I'm just gonna have to roll with the punches, and you know, this is just one drawing that's gonna teach me. I'll look at this later and learn that, hey, don't forget, you need to work within the boundaries that you have. It's also telling me that I didn't draw it in the same. I didn't draw it the same. Basically, is what I'm trying to say, and to pay attention to that more the next time that I try and do this again. Flipping the image is allowing me to see detail I wasn't really catching the first time, like this curvature of his sleeve, or for his gloves, actually comes down at a point instead of a rounded tip. And on these arms, you can actually see the difference between the sleeve on his arm and the sleeve of the glove itself. Locon! What's up, homie? Now, one thing that I did exaggerate was the length of his collar. The length of his collar is only supposed to come up so high, and what I did was make it higher than what the image is itself. Now, do I want to adjust that, or do I want to leave it the way I did it? Well, again, we are trying to copy an image, we're not trying to make it our own, so I will adjust as much as I can for it to make sense. Oh, fuzzy. A lot of good artists coming in here to check out what's going on. Normally in one of these sessions, I would ask you guys to, like, you know, draw the same thing as me, and then we can compare what our work looks like to, at the end of it. But because I'm drawing all on my own, and nobody knew I was going to do this, heck, I didn't even know I was going to do this. It's really me trying to cover the silence with something useful. I'm not an art teacher, though I wanted to be one when I was growing up. Being able to explain why I'm doing one thing and the other is really important to me, though. I just hope that you guys are picking something up from this, and that I'm not just speaking in vain about it, because, you know, it'll mean something to me if you guys do learn at least one thing from me today. Even if it's don't do it like that, it's still gonna feel good that you guys learned something. Okay, so he's got three peaks at the way his eye is shadowed right now, so that's what I'm gonna work on. 1, 2, 3. Erase that middle line. Go over that again. 1, 2, and the third one right there. Now, how does this wrap around his nose? He's kind of got a pointy nose from the sides. Not the middle, but from the sides, so I gotta keep that. Tippy tappy. Whew. Okay. And he does have that signature kind of swoop to the side over here in the peak. It needs to be a little skinnier, actually, a little shorter. Yes, that's better. It is 3 o'clock. We are 1 hour into this. I feel like I will be able to at least get the the markers started, and that's going to be a fun process itself. Because then we get to choose what kind of markers to go into it. We're going to open this collar a little more, round it off, and give it a little belly right there. Guys, if you are put off by my hand, I am sorry. I am kind of self-conscious about that at the moment. I'll tell you what, though. It was a really good workout. So the peaks on his collar that are inside point outwards, and what I had was the opposite. I had them pointing inwards. So I'm adjusting those points, and it looks like it's actually skinnier on these little whoop-de-whoops. This also has a little point right there. Now for his mouth, to be honest, they did this thing where they didn't draw much of the lips. All they did was give attention to the nose and the way it dips. It would have dipped on his upper lip. And by giving it just enough space between the mustache he has and that little dip I just mentioned is really all you need to fill in the illusion that there is a lip there. I feel like learning these kind of, not shortcuts, but ways to draw less to give more is very important. Again, I can only imagine what kind of deadline this guy had, whether he had to draw everything in the issue or he was only in charge of the cover. But if he had to draw everything in the issue, I can tell why he would choose to go this route, to only give so much attention to some detail and leave enough to where he can move on to the other, because sometimes less is more. Here in the goatee part, it starts with a triangle shape. Instead of having a point, it kind of follows up like that, and then giving it a heart bottom, or little heart flaps. I don't know if I'm describing it properly. Probably not. I apologize if I'm confusing, guys. He fought the log and the log won. Drift, what's up? I hope you're still in here. He says, hey Taven, can you say happy birthday to my mom, Dixon? Oh man, you almost got me, Drift. You almost got me. That's great. Did y'all see that? What's up, Retro Man? How are you? That's hilarious, though. Will somebody come get that boy? Come get them, boy. He's just being too much, bro. Too much. You gonna do that resin work today, bro? And how was your thing last night? Did you win? I tried to help out, man, but I kind of ran out of funds. Looks like you were having some fun, just jamming out, dancing, getting ready to get messy. 3rd place out of 40, bro. That's awesome. Heck yeah. Yo, Corey, can you pin Drift's message? That's hilarious to me. I need you guys to appreciate what he said and that he almost got me. I don't know who that is, man, but I'm gonna remember your name, bro. That's fun. Chris Matthew says, what's up, bro? How are you? I'm doing good, man. Let me take a sec to show you guys what I am drawing really quick. I'll show Roku. So, of course, this is what you've been looking at for the most case, but I've had to make adjustments to make the body as proportionate to the same image that I am copying. Again, I'm not trying to correct anything. I'm trying to copy what I see. If you've been here long enough, you heard the things that they've kind of tweaked a little bit, but I'm learning from it. And again, you guys over here can see this as well. Here's the original, and here's how mine is coming along. Nerd Cave, thank you, bro. The original and what I got going. This is Doctor Strange from the New Avengers, issue 14. How are you guys doing? Nerd Cave, I saw that drawing that you did of your of Nerd Cave. I wish I knew how to do graffiti, bro. I don't know how to do graffiti art. I've always been a little jelly of people that could, and you are now in that group. So it looks like I can actually draw these hands a little slightly bigger. So I'm going to erase this bottom one. I'm going to give it a nice little circle for me to try and fit into it. I don't know if I said that properly. That wasn't me, that was another. Oh, you reposted it. Okay, my bad, bro. That was cool, though. Tell him I'm jealous. He's gonna be like, who the heck is that? Okay, so now I see that. So then 1, 2, and the second one actually pushes this forward more, so that makes that longer. And there's a round tip of the fingertip, the next knuckle, and we're going to go another knuckle down because we know that our fingers have 3 knuckles, right? 3 joints. Help me! And that kind of opens up palm. Now here's the funny part. Our thumbs are just such weird, very distinctive, like, pieces of anatomy. Like, sometimes it's just hard for me to draw thumbs. It's really what I'm trying to say here, you guys. Like, and the way they shadowed these, see, they didn't draw direct lines on the fingers. What they did was they drew these 2 knuckles right here. They separated them with like a thin line, and then the rest of the fingers that meet the knuckles to like these joints right here were left out, almost there for you to like complete the image yourself by looking at it. which is very interesting. I do love that. It's a great way to use negative space. Like, we all know that our knuckles continue like that, right? So it was just really, really good use of that. I learned that trick when I learned how to draw subliminal messages. I did go to college for a little bit. Intro into marketing taught us how to use negative space to fill in an image, or have somebody else fill in the image for you. And this just goes to, it's a nice reminder that those techniques are still used even in art itself like that. And yes, I do consider this stuff art, you guys. He also does skateboard art. What, bro? Oh, someone did that for you? Sweet. Right, that's what I was saying. You should see these videos I just took of Cringer watching your show on Roku. I can't. I'm on Roku right now. Okay. Post them and tag me on them. So when I drew these circles here that indicate his powers and abilities, like projecting off of his palm, I drew them too close to his legs. So now I get to adjust those. And by adjusting those, I also give myself the proper space to draw this other hand in his magic symbol form, I guess. I really don't know what they call it, but yeah. Also, do you guys know that Doctor Strange learned, how do I word this? I have this comic book, I think it's called The End of the Spider-Verse. It was a pretty cool comic book that taught me something, and that is that Doctor Strange uses these symbols because the original magic that was taught to the wizards is related to Spider-Man somehow, and apparently, like, that's why they do this symbol too. So I thought that was pretty cool that the spider magic is why Doctor Strange does these type of hand gestures. If you guys didn't know, now you know. I think in the issue he was talking to Peter and he was like, didn't you ever wonder why we do the same hand gestures or something like that? He's like, oh wow, I never thought of it like that. He's like, yeah, spider magic. So I'm wondering if they're ever going to touch on that in the MCU, because I think it'd be pretty awesome. I don't think it would harm the MCU in any way. I just think it'd be a really cool way to connect these two characters. So here I'm trying to draw these hands the same size, and I'll tell you what, guys, I didn't know how to draw hands in the past, so I'm just goodness. I'm trying my best, you guys. I'm trying my best. Really? I just thought he was a Spidey fan. Ha! Hey, who knows? Maybe he is. Not in the MCU, but he might be in the comics. Okay. So another reason why I say they started on something and they kind of just gave up on it is because they actually gave the 3 knuckles that we have here some detail on these bottom hands, and the pinky, which you can obviously see if you look at a real pinky, has the same lines that distinguish where our knuckles are, right, our joints. Well, on the drawing they didn't bother doing that for the pinky, but for the index finger the details are there. Another one of those moments where they were like, yeah, that's enough, move on. I don't know if that's all by choice, if the artist has like a certain style he likes to follow, These are just things that I've noticed that they did to maybe save them time to move on to the next thing. But for whatever reason, they went with that choice, and it's up to me as someone who's trying to redraw this. You know, I don't want to just redraw what I see, but I want to question it and learn from it so that I can also use these techniques. It's just pretty fun. It's pretty neat. I feel like I'm learning a lot. Of course, I am speculating a lot on why they did one thing or the other, but that's also fun itself, you know? Fun in itself. It's not like I have the artist's phone number where I can be like, yo, what's up with that? Yo, homie, why come the thumbs ain't thumbing? I think one of my circles is bigger than the other. I'm pretty sure they used the protractor for this part. But if you can draw a circle, a perfect circle when you're freehand, whoo, doggy. We had a few art students that were, you know, those guys, and they would be like, oh, I bet you can't do this in one try. I don't even think it was art class. I think it was just kids trying to pass the time and not do homework. But they would be like, oh, who can draw a perfect circle in one try? I think I've seen the video too. I didn't realize it was going to like survive the test of time or boredom. But yeah. Okay. So I'm looking at what I need to keep working on. I'll bring this up to you guys. A lot of the details are already there, the main details. The next part I have to do is basically shadow this in before I start painting it or coloring it in. Like, obviously we know that he's trying to do this gesture with his fingers, right? But pay attention to what his hands look like. It looks like the formed three, like, lobster claw, you know? But you know what he's trying to do. It's just I don't want to keep calling them shortcuts. It's just, you know, your eye is definitely finishing the image at first glance. You know, it's not like they expected you to stare at this for like 2 hours and redraw it and critique them on it. But it's just, you know, like, look at this one. What is this? What is this? Let me show Roku. Okay, let me brighten the image for Roku really quick. So what I was trying to show up here is that on this hand, the dude's got like a lobster hand going on, which, you know, like I said, they're trying to represent this, right? But the choices that they did, again, lobster hand, and then over here it's just like a thumb over his fingers, I think. And I can't tell if his fingers are pointing down or if they're closed like that. But either way, you can tell that they took some shortcuts on how to express that, which I'm totally fine with. I would have never have noticed that if I didn't decide to redraw this whole thing. Guys, let me know in the comments if you guys are hearing anything that's valid, you know, coming out of my mouth. If I'm just being pretentious, or if you see some value to my critiques here. I would also love to be humbled in that sense, because like I don't want to be that guy that's just talking shit, talking trash about somebody else's work. Now that I have this arm right here in front of me, I am going to make it a little skinnier and drop it just a little bit. Riders on the storm. Do I have a motor on in the background? I do. It's the fan to my computer. Apparently it's overworking itself right now. Probably need to clean it. Sorry about that noise. I think they are trying to demonstrate a hand in motion and represent distortion of the magic. That's a really good way of putting that. I like that. You hear a buzzing on Roku. Yeah, buddy, that's just the fan of my modem. I'm gonna have to clean it out so it doesn't work so hard. Thank you for that. I'll keep that in mind. Be back, mom's calling. Alrighty. A fan, maybe? Yeah, like I said, it's just the it's probably from my computer. Like I said, I just need to hit it with some of that spray so it doesn't work so hard. So though I like the shape of this arm over here, I don't like how big it is. It doesn't seem to be matching as much as I wanted, so I'm going to adjust this arm. Great, now I can't unhear the fan. Okay. Okay, I feel like I'm getting it, I'm sizing it better now. Let's make that forearm a little skinnier towards the wrist here and give it enough space for this thumb to do its thing. Again, we're going to do the old flip hand. With the illusion of a flip. Got some funky A hands over here, Dr. Strange, but we're here for it. You know, we're here for it. Now we need to align this properly. Okay. Now I feel like dancing. My mic is too good? No. Sure. I I've noticed that Kandarian is in here, Corey's in here, Chris Matthews is in here, and Retro Man is also in here. I wonder if that's all you guys see yourselves. Kandarian, thanks for hanging out as long as you have. I think you're new to the page. I welcome you guys. Everybody else, I hope you guys are subscribed to the Roku, YouTube, my Instagram, all of the socials. I do post earlier content on Instagram if you guys are ever curious about that, and because Instagram is picture friendly, we can send each other pictures or when we need to talk about art, comic books, new releases of toys, movies, shows. I'm a very visual learner, so I do send people stuff there a lot more. If you guys want to add me on any of those platforms, you can find me under Cave Art Adventures, and I am your host, Taven the Caveman, that menace. I hope everyone's having a good time while I just speak my truths and try and follow this beautiful drawing to a T. Some of this is a challenge, but I am learning, and that's gonna make it all worth the while. Let's shorten this arm a little bit and give this elbow a little peak right here. And then we're going to smoothen that out by doing that. And of course, we're going to take some of that gobble out of the tricep and give it some more muscle definition right there, some tighter muscles. Sitting at 4. Yes, Coach Scooby, I'm wondering why it doesn't show me everyone that's in here. If you do have one of those, so you can definitely change some settings around to where it hides you from certain things, like hiding what you're liking, hiding, you know, you can be in here like anonymously or whatever. But if you have that setting put on to where it hides your likes, sometimes it hides you in chat from other people, even if you're friends, which isn't a bad thing. I think I'm still getting the view for it, you know. I'm just relaying that might be an issue, not an issue, but like that might be why. Sometimes I think it's better to just shade stuff in with, you know, your pencil. Like, here, I'll show you. I'm going to shade this in, and then I'm going to take what I don't need away with my eraser, right? Instead of adding it this way, at least you can also be in control of what you need in that way. New version of Shadow Banana. Shadow Banana. So the reason why I'm also shadowing is because I need to shadow before I get any of the markers on here, right? Okay, so there's 1, 2, and then a light shadowing for the pecs. Ooh, the pecs. And now that I'm paying closer attention to this peak over here, there's actually a space between his Agamotto and his sign on his chest. So I'll adjust these lines after I erase them. I would have missed that if I wasn't paying closer attention like I am now. Because now I'm trying to get those pecs shaded in. It's just crazy. These guys, whoever drew this, just put so much thought into it. It's really, really nice to try and just like try and replicate such a great piece of art, because like God, it's just another way to appreciate what they put into it, you know. I can only say it in so many different words. I'm just appreciative of what they do. I do consider this stuff art, you guys. I don't know if you guys do. But it definitely sparks emotion. It takes, you know, talent. It puts you in a whole different state of mind. Really, what is needed for something to be qualified as art? You know what I mean? Like, so right here, what I'm going to do. Now that I'm working on the shading part, I am trying to pay attention to the spots that I don't need to shade necessarily, because the markers that I'll use will do that themselves. But there are other parts here where I'm just gonna be like, no, bro, shade that part in. It will just help the marker do its job even better. Some of these color mixes too around where the magic is just, it looks so cool. It looks so cool. I really hope I can do it justice. And get some of this similar look going. Hence the similar sounding words. There are certain phrases that TT doesn't like, so I avoid spelling them. Oh. I'm like, I feel I'm just permanently shadow banned by the nature of my content. If you guys have been on my page long enough, you know that I talk all of the trash towards the algorithm, and you know, I know they're listening. Otherwise they wouldn't be pushing that promote on me so much. So like, it's whatever. I don't recommend you follow my footsteps. I just, you know, at one point or another, it's just too silly for me to care. I've been stuck in TikTok jail for so long. I'm just used to it now. Besides, it's kind of freeing, liberating that you're here, you know, in TikTok jail. Because then you can just be like, well, what else are you gonna do? Suppress my stuff like you already are? Like, okay. You are free to do as we tell you. You are free to do as we tell you. Like, hush up. Man, the shading on the neck, particularly on the neck, is just amazing. I love this. This is giving me like Street Fighter art style, you know? If I could remember that guy's name, the guy that draws Street Fighter in this particular art style, like, he is one of my biggest inspirations. When I was younger, I really, really wanted to be that guy. Just because the way that he would shade. So I can tell already this is going to be really, really tricky when I use the markers on it. I better run away then. As a kid, the cover was the marketing towards whether I wanted to read it or not. That's 100% art. Heck yeah, dude, I agree with you. Are you gonna use our RGB or CMYK colors theory? What? Red, green, and blue, or CM Yorkie? Gotta fly, but I still got you on Roku. I might be back. Right on, Retro. Thanks for chilling as long as you did, man. Really appreciate it. You better step correct when you talk about those art, that art there. What is you talking about? Teach me. I haven't been to art class in years, bro. You're gonna have to refresh my memory on the terminology. That was red, green, and blue, though, right? Like you were trying to say. I don't know what the other one is, though. Cayenne, magenta, yellow, and black. No. I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to make it look pretty. Don't complicate a fun thing. No, I'm joking. I'd probably be using those terms too if I knew how to use them properly. It's the great thing about being informed and educated and stuff that you really like. You get to learn all sorts of proper terms. Me, I'm just like, you know, the thingy with the doodad that does the noise, the zoinka. I'm pretty sure it's annoying to a lot of people, but I think my work speaks for itself when it's done. And, you know. Yeah, you know. So now that I'm shading in these muscles, I gotta ask myself if I need to go darker or lighter on some of these. Big gazonkas, chungy wongies. Okay. Additive versus subtract colors. I know of the marker method. See, this guy knows what I'm trying to say. Just to ask, Corey, do you want to tell us a little bit about your? It sounds like you're educated in it from either experience or someone taught you it. Either way, I'm down to learn from you, obviously. Do you want to share some of your background on this stuff? I only went to a half semester of college. I don't know if you guys have heard that story. I don't need to repeat it though, but you know, it didn't work out. Otherwise, I'd probably be, I don't know, doing something with art in a different fashion than just dioramas and redrawing stuff. Big gazoikas, chummy wummies. I've been watching too much brain rot TikTok. Okay. So, I am growing more and more confident that this is starting to please me, you know? I can definitely keep adding more detail to it. But again, I'm also leaving room for me to grow from it, and that means that sometimes I just gotta call it done learn what I can from that experience, and hopefully apply that to the next piece. Sorry about that. Hopefully apply that to the next piece that I work on. Additive color mixing is a color model that combines two or more colors to create a new color. Oh wow, okay. Oh snap. Oh my god, I swear to god my friend knows I'm on here. Hey mom, how are you mom? Luisa. Is Luisa up in here? See, it just took a bunch of viewers out of the list. I don't know if Luisa is in here, but that is my mom. If you guys see her, tell her, hi Mrs. Caveman. She probably heard me talking shit and her ears were ringing. And was like, whoa. Mom, you remember that one time Dad took me out of art school because he got mad I didn't become a mechanic? I do. Hey, it's the Tigresa. Or what did you say her in-ring name was? Yeah, no, you got it right, bro. Her favorite story to tell about that whole thing is one day, on one of her matches, and I think probably the last match that we were allowed to go watch, she was, you know, she was going through it, you know, as in like they were throwing her around and stuff, and obviously the people who didn't know this whole show, like us and her sisters, were all thinking she was really getting hurt because she was selling it, and so I started screaming something along the lines of, "That's my mom, don't hurt her." And obviously my aunts were like, "That's my sister, don't hurt her." And I think after that she was like, "Yeah, you guys are not invited anymore. You can't be like outing me and stuff." But I think that's her favorite story to tell. Or at least it's the one that I've heard the most. Yeah. And also in the color mixing, I definitely like that route. I didn't know that's what it was called. I just am so new to these markers, my dude, that I don't know if I don't know the proper mixtures. Yeah, I don't know which ones to mix to get what I need. As you saw when I was drawing, maybe you saw it, the Watcher and pinche Watcher way. Like, I had that issue with the legs and the skin tone for him, and I had to figure it out on the spot. And it just like I'm trying to say, I don't know the proper mixture. Didn't know you were on live, my bad. Yeah, sorry all day. I definitely would have picked up, man. I'll give you a call back. I'm done in 10 minutes, so you don't got too long to wait. Simplest explanation I can give. No, that's a really good explanation, my brother. It's just again, I didn't know the proper name for that, so thank you. Teaching me something new, man. I'm learning so much from you. I learned so much from you and Jay. Jay works in construction, and like he knows all the proper names for, like, you know, the builds and stuff. And making dioramas, he was helping me out with some of that verbiage. So just thank you both. I know he's here with us in spirit. I just love the way that this guy looks. Not even my version of him, but like the actual, like the original. It just looks awesome. He looks so cute. I wish I looked that cute. This is how I say cute. It's cute. Yeah, brother, I'll message you back and, well, I'll call you in like 10 minutes. What do you mean no worries? Well, you know I'm gonna bother you until you pick up. Because best friends don't let each other rest. I've known all day since my years in high school. He's a good guy. Okay, so now that I need to shade this part, I'll start from the glove. And work my way down. I'm almost certain this is going to be a learning experience. It's either going to work out or it's going to like just bite me in the butt. But either way, as long as we learn something, okay? Just be positive. Oh god. And then I'm gonna jump over here. Do a little shading over y'all. And then hit it right y'all. Can't forget this giant vein that they decided to draw on here. Oh, the only one. Oh, wait a minute, they drew one over here, kind of. Or is that wrinkles from his shirt? I think those are wrinkles from his shirt. Okay, and he seems to have more of these wrinkles right here. You're multi-talented, sir. Yo, just AJ. Thank you, man. I'll show you guys how far I've gone on this drawing really quickly. I just want to throw some more of these in. We got 10 minutes to, we got 6 minutes to go before I have to say my goodbyes. Right. Where do I need more shading? More shading. That part can be shaded in with markers, but this right here needs to be adjusted. His symbol on his chest actually has skinnier lines in here, so that's what I'll do. Omelette du fromage. You guys remember the only French we ever learned as kids? I do. And then give him some muscles right there, some muscles. He's a real jacked up doctor, you guys. Like, if you weren't jacked up like this, you couldn't become a doctor, I think. You know? All doctors have 12 packs. Okay. So we did a thing. I'm proud of the thing. I just know that I can do better next time. Alright guys, are you guys ready for me to stop toying around with this and show you guys what I got? I know you are. You're probably ready for me to shut up. I know. I am too, guys. I need a break from talking my own ears off. Oh, but how am I going to show you guys this if I don't give it some jagged magic, like electric, like effects? Was I about to do that and not show you the electric stuff? Let's See it, homie. Alright, hold up. Alright. I said alright, hold on. Don't rush me, coach. God. Let's show Roku really quick because I'm gonna hang out with you guys a little longer. This is my Doctor Strange drawing. I did this in the span of 2.5 hours. This is a solid outline. The next things that I will add is some color, some life to it. Thank you guys for hanging out with me as long as you have. I really appreciate all the support here on Roku Land, on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, all the socials. You can find me under Cave Art Adventures. If you guys want to see what this guy's gonna look like all colored, you have to check out my Instagram and or my TikTok, Cave Art Adventures. I am Taven the Caveman. Let me show you guys this. I'll show you guys this drawing first. This is what I was going off of. Boom. I think for a 2.5 hour job, that looks pretty cool, right? Like, I'm digging it. I'm digging it. Yeah. I need to take a picture of this before I color it in, just so that I can show, you know, where it was. I mean, how I started, where I'm at, and where I'm going with it. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I'm tired of talking. We do have 2 minutes left on Roku here. Guys, again, thank you. If you're not subscribed, please go subscribe to me on Roku, YouTube, Instagram, everywhere you can find an internet's footprint. I am there under Taven the Caveman. I mean, Cave Art Adventures. I am Taven the Caveman. So tired of talking for 2.5 hours. I definitely need another cup of coffee. I don't know if you even got to see it, dude. Did you even see it? Oh my goodness. I'm just gonna keep this up until the show is over. Again, you guys, thank you so much. I really like the way this came out. I still have a few details to add to it. Some electric energy blasts, kind of things that are poking out of that circle. And then painting it. Guys, everyone that's tuned in, thank you so much. This is Taven the Caveman. You can find me on Roku, YouTube, Cave Art Adventures, all channels under that name. From 2 to 4 p.m. Pacific Time, I am your man, Taven the Caveman, again. I'm out.